All my life I've been impressed. You're not the first to say I am. I do all I can for an ideal world where we're free to choose. But in my real world, you can bet we're gonna lose. In the end, oh, I'll probably get to like it, but the thing that's really frightening is I think I was just like him, and it hurts. We'll leave home, try to make it on our own, but darling, you don't have to this. Suffice to say you love me. I can't say that I blame you. Suffice to say I love you too.
On our website or on his own website. But one of the things that stood out to me, and before we get, I think this is the most important thing we talk about, is I saw you did the score for the James Bond Xbox game or something like that. How did that come about?
Yes, I wonder if it was a long time ago. What we're talking probably about 2000 and it won't be 2002. But I do these schools workshops, and sometimes I play it's on the video, it's on YouTube, the actual music I did at the beginning of the game, and some kids go, oh yeah, my older brother or my dad used to play that because it's so long ago. But that came out. I just wrote this song with this girl, this Canadian girl, and the next thing we heard, it did sound quite James Bondy. If I'd known you were going to say that, I could have suggested to put it on today. But yes, people can check it out. It's called, I think they just go on Nearly Civilized. That was the title of the track, and James Bond music or whatever. But yes, that was exciting to get involved with that. Anyway, I'd just say, first of all, say hello to everyone. I would have made a promise. My promise would probably have been the same as quite a few of you, to eat better, eat more veg, and try and be a nicer person.
Oh, one of the things that you're most well known for, I guess, is being part of the Christians. And I understand in the set list, the first one is from that era of music, is my understanding.
Yeah, I don't know whether anybody will remember the Christians out there, but yes, we were big in the sort of late 80s, early 90s.
And you had a band before that. And I guess one of the, I don't know, I only really did music in secondary school, and we had a band. It wasn't very good, but it was great fun to be with your mates and playing a guitar and sort of yelling down a microphone.
Were you the lead singer, Greg?
I declined to answer for fear of being forced to perform. How did you come about being involved in music? What drew you to music?
The Beatles, the Kinks, the Stones, Tamla Motown. I just loved it. When I was a kid, all my friends were, buying Beezer and Topper, and I was buying NME and disc and music. I just loved it. That's all I want to do is music. If you have a passion for something, you might. It's what a joy that my passion is music, and I've ended up having a career in music, despite not being taught, self-taught, and can't read a note. But I've got a good ear, and I've got quite a good record collection, and I just love it so much. I will do anything not to have a proper job.
The first song, do you want to give us a little bit of a background about?
Yeah, Ideal World was a hit for the Christians, got to number 12, I think, in 1987. So it's a long time ago, and there's a quite a nice video that was filmed on a mountainside in Austria. It was dreadful, awful to make. We were freezing and that, but it looks nice. So this, I say, was probably one of the bigger hits we had with the Christians. It was on the first album, and this version. What I better explain. I've been doing during lockdown to keep myself sort of focused. I started doing these shed sessions. These sessions just from my shed, just me and an iPhone camera pointing at me and singing. And occasionally on some of them, I got other people involved. Just friends of mine. In fact, I think is Nick still there? Nick Silver? Is he still around?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, you're here.
I know. I can hear his voice, and that's enough for me. It terrifies the life out of me. But it's been due to. I've got to thank Nick because he was the one who introduced me to the Brain Charity and asked whether I'd like to become involved. So people like Nick. Nick is on this. I think you're on this video, Nick. Yes, you are. Playing some lovely violin. And what we do is I do the original one on my iPhone, and then everybody else sends their bits in. It's all a bit of a mishmash, but at the end of it, it just works lovely. I love this one. It's a really, really good fun. I mean, it's a serious song, but there's a lot of joy in what we do. So yeah, it's called Ideal World.
I do all I can for an ideal world where we're free to choose. But in my real world, you can bet we're gonna lose. In the ideal world, we can start again. Now in my real world, let's put an end to suffering and suffering. Acapella. In the ideal world, we're now.
That's absolutely amazing. I'm not going to lie. There was a bit of that anxiety. I have a confession that I'm a bit young for the Christians first
Of course
time
you
round.
are.
But when I sort of started listening to your music because you were becoming a patron, I was like, I'm very glad it's good, because that'd be awkward if it's like one of those moments where you're like, oh yeah.
Ah,
But so it was amazing.
ah. Yeah, it was for me. It was. I'd say it was very cathartic for me being able to, because as you say, I'm usually on at least 2, sometimes 3 Saturdays or weekends away. I'd be gigging, and obviously I don't know whether I'll be gigging again this year. Maybe might do one at the end of the year. Let's see how it all goes. So for me, it kept me focused.
Shall we move on to the second song?
Yes, this song is called "He Ain't Good Enough." So I left the Christians in 2007, not knowing what to do, and I started writing these songs about my own life, about the age I was. The first song I wrote was called "Old," and it had the line, "I'm the same age that my father was when I first thought he was old." And from then, me and my mate, we were writing these songs, and they just all, we just, rather than trying to have hits, there's no way somebody else, somebody of my age will have a hit anymore. So you just write about real life. So this is writing about my friend, the friend who I co-wrote this next song with. His daughter had just had just had a new boyfriend, and I said, "What do you think? What do you think of Claire's boyfriend?" And he went, "He's not good enough for her." I went, "That's the song title." So as soon as he said that, we were away. The song, and it's called "He Ain't Good Enough for You," and it's for when the boyfriend is brought home for the first time, or girlfriend is brought home for the first time. This is just me on my own, so it's a bit rough and ready.
He's got a future that is bright and happy. You'll never want for anything. And he seemed nice enough as he smiled at me, nice and polite, don't make it right. And he ain't good enough for you, and it hurts, but I know you could do so much worse.
What a lovely flourish at the end there.
Oh, hey, I've been practicing, you see. That's one thing lockdown was good for. I got better on the guitar. She never stayed with that boyfriend, by the way. He wasn't good enough for her. So that's how the story ends.
A bit of prophecy for you then.
Yes. Yeah. This next one is quite sweet. I don't know if there are any romantics out there, but I'm romantic. In fact, it says so in this song. This song I wrote for my girlfriend in 1977. And we're still together to this day. So I think I say at the beginning how old this song, but again, a lot of lovely people joining me on this. Dr. Nick as well, again. This one's called Suffice to Say.
Just after this, suffice to say you love me. I can't say that I blame you. Suffice to say I love you too.
fabulous, and lovely little backup singing from a bird in the tree there.
Well, well, I think from a few different trees, because Nick was, all of us were meant to be outside. The only person who was inside was Les, and that was, I don't know if you remember, a few months ago there was a really big fire in Earlstown, and he couldn't go outside because he was choking. But everybody else shot theirs outside. So all those birds are from, well, hang on, so all over the country basically. Joe, the bass player, he's down in Surrey, that's what's so magical. You can be in a band together, but you can be 200 miles apart. So yeah, no, it's a lovely one. That it was lovely that it was that lovely week in whenever it was, early May. Do you remember? Well, there were a few nice weeks in early May. And I just said, should we try and all do this outside? Let's get the birds to sing along. This next song, it's not from the Shed session. I just thought I'd do something different halfway through. We would have done this song, True Believer it's called, and it's a great big chorus. Well, when we did it on the record, which is what you'll hear now, we had a school. I went to a school, and I just happened to sing this song in one of their lunchtime gospel choir sessions. I just sang it, and somebody happened to video it. And it was magical. And I went back to Pete and John, who co-wrote the song with me. I said, we've got to get a gospel choir on this. So I went back to the school, which is in my hometown, Hull. I'm from Yorkshire. And we got them to sing on it. And they're on the album, and they're on this video. And this video is quite interesting because it's a house gig. I do these house gigs. Well, I did. I don't know when I'll do them again, because obviously now with the COVID-19 regulations, it's going to be very tricky to play in a small house, but you'll see how this is just somebody's house, and they've got a little conservatory, and they squeeze probably about 50, 60 people in there, and this is a genuine house gig. We did cheat a bit. We shot a few of the things in the afternoon before people arrived, but yeah, I'm really happy with this video. This is from my second album, which is called, this is what the mug's from, which is called The Last Mad Surge of Youth. There you go. We even got the mug. So yeah, it's called True Believer.
Yeah, it just might, 'cause I believe that life goes on. What doesn't kill you makes you strong. Somewhere down the line, you're gonna find peace of mind and blue skies. I'm a true believer. There may be
I've forgotten about that ending.
It's nice to know that when we have head matters back at the building, we can rely on you to do some mixing up during the day. What kind of work have you done with schools, and how have you been involved in that?
It's generally, I do less now, well obviously a lot less now this year, none this year, but sort of 2010, 2011, 2012, I was doing probably about 50 a year, and it basically teaches generally with primary school kids. So obviously they couldn't come up with the music, not necessarily, you couldn't guarantee they could, but they could, it was mainly about story writing, lyrics. So actually, I'll tell you when it was. When was the Olympics? Was that 2012, the Olympics? Wasn't it, I think? Yeah, so we did a lot of them around Olympics. And there was a song of mine called Don't You Love Me No More. And the chorus goes, don't you love me no more, don't you want me? And we did, I changed the lyrics. So I gave them the chorus, oh, the Olympics are here. It happens every 4 years. So they got that, again, a little bit. And, one of the lines was, the Queen will be there in her pink underwear. One of the kids came up with that, because I said, just say what you think, just have a laugh. It doesn't have to be, it can be funny, it can be whatever. And I've done that for ages. Occasionally I do secondary schools, and that's where I played my version of True Believer, and that's when the gospel choir. So I don't know if you noticed the gospel choir, they're magical. It just sounds fabulous. So with them, there'll be about 30 of them. I split them into groups, and I say, right, let's write a song. You all got to write a song, and then they perform it at the end of the day. So it's quick. It's quite disciplined, and some of them are there going, I've no idea, I don't know what to write about, because a lot of the boys want to just play guitar, and I just say, well, look around you. What do you see? You know what I mean? Just anything. Open the paper. What's the headline say? anyway, we get through it. So it's been great fun doing those.
You don't live in Liverpool anymore. You live in Anglesey. So what's your relationship with living in Liverpool and that history?
I mean, I've spent so how long? I mean, I've been in Liverpool longer than I've been anywhere else, and so it's magical, and I keep coming back. I'm actually back in Liverpool today, so I'm yes, absolutely love the city, and it's I say for music, it's such a magical place, and I say I've been lucky to have form a couple of bands here, and with the first band the band that did that, Suffice to Say, that song I did just before, we toured America and stuff like that. With the Christians, we toured, we went to Japan and went to Canada, and I've been so lucky that, as I say, to do the things I love doing. And I'm still doing it now, albeit just me and usually just me and Les. He's the chap who's on these videos, the one with the baldy head, and me and Les go around the country having such fun. And it's much less pressurized now. I don't mind the fact that I don't play in big venues. I prefer playing in small venues and seeing the whites of people's eyes. I like being really close to people. Again, that's a problem at the moment, what with COVID. But we'll get back there. We'll get back.
But you've also writing a musical at the moment, which is. Did you want to talk about your music?
Yes, I was going to do a song from it, but it was really hard to do just on my own because obviously I can't get anybody else involved, and there wasn't time to do a full-on band thing. This song, the musical, is called "Looking for Jim." And it's all about, it's my friend, John Beck, who actually co-wrote that last song with me. And we wrote that together years ago, probably about 7 or 8 years ago. And John rang me last year and said, Henry, I'm writing this musical about my dad. He's got vascular dementia, and he's in a care home, and he was going through all sorts of troubles, and a horrible care home he was in. And I said, I've written this play basically, and I want it to be a musical. And he said half of it's very sad and half of it's hilarious, because he's a very good writer, and I don't really know Alan Bennett, but it's set in Leeds, so it's set in Yorkshire. It's real and it's fabulous. It's really well written. So we had to come up with, I think we've written 14 songs for it. Some break your heart. It's like so sad when, for instance, the daughter and the mother are by his bedside and it looks like he's not going to make it through the night. He does, spoiler alert. And it's got a happy ending because eventually he came out of that horrible home. He was in a few horrible care homes where they just fill you full of drugs and things and leave you alone. And he needed to be stimulated, And so they found him a much better home. So it's got a happy ending, a big rousing chorus at the end, welcome home, Jim. And if it hadn't been for COVID, I reckon about now we probably would be maybe possibly doing rehearsals and hopefully getting it moving. But it's all been put on hold for now. But don't worry, it means I can mess around with the songs a bit more and make them even better. But I'm really pleased with the songs. There's one called "Sing for the Brain," and that was the one I was going to try and do now. So if maybe in the future, when we all get back together, and I can do that with the choir as well, because it's got a great big chorus, sing, sing, sing for the brain, and it's a good rousing song. So maybe when we all get back together,
maybe we could adopt it as some sort of unofficial anthem.
Absolutely,
singing for the brain.
Well, that's it. It's sing, sing, sing for the brain, because that's what we're all here for. That's what it is, and that's why. And it's in a scene where he's taken to this music place, where they all sing, and it's just to help people get through. And music is such a healer; it really is.
If I'm being honest, this next song's my favourite from all of the ones that we're listening to today. I really love this song. Do you want to introduce this next one?
I hope it's the same one. It's called "We Used to Be You," and it's just me. This one, back in the shed. The song I did before, do you remember? It's called "He Ain't Good Enough for You," for when the boyfriend was brought home for the first time. This is a few years later when the child goes away to university, or moves away for a job or something, and it's called "We Used to Be You." And I'm glad you like this, Greg. I think this is one song where I think I got every line right. As a songwriter, you come back and you go, ooh, we could have worked, we should have, that's a bit cringy. With this one, we really worked on it, honed it again and again and again, and I took it back with me when we'd finished, and I said, you know what, we need a middle bit, and but yes, I'm really pleased with this, and there's a lovely video which I actually put up last week because around this time of year, obviously, a lot of people's kids are going off to university. So, and some people say to me, "I love that song, but I can't listen to it. It just brings me out in tears." So I hope there's not too many tears when you watch this one. See what you think.
If you could check in, or maybe text from time to time, if you're inclined, 'cause we used to be you. We used to be you. We know what it's like, but it's so hard to say goodbye. One day you'll go through this too. I hope
I love it so much. It makes me want to punch the air. It's so good. It makes me think of, particularly on my first day of uni, it's very stressful anyway, and you go and meet all the people you're going to be spending the next year with, you don't know, you put the stuff away, and then you get to the bit where my sister and my mum came up to sort of help me, and my sister had been the one who was driving, and they were saying goodbye, and they'd parked around the corner because there's so many people going in, and I went and said goodbye, and then I got lost on my way back to my flat. And so I had to phone my mum to show me the way. But my sister had to park the car because my mum was crying and answer my mum's phone to tell me how to get back into my flats. So that it really made me think of that when hearing that song.
But Greg, have you seen the official video that's done for that? Because you would love it. Well, it'd probably make you cry. Because my friend Mark, who actually co-wrote "Ideal World," the first song we heard, he put together this video showing lots of clips of people. Just go and check it out. Anyway, it's called "We Used to Be You," the official video. It's fabulous. Yeah, you'll have noticed Les in all of these videos, well, a lot of these videos I've shown. He's my trusty right hand man and great guitarist. Five of you owe me now, Les, for saying that. Yeah. And Les does some of the schools with me too. So we've it's been a strange year, hasn't it, Les? With no schools and no gigs.
Bonkers. It's been a bonkers year.
You did one the other last week, didn't you? Did you do?
I did a gig with Ian Prowse last week. Yeah.
But how did you manage it? Was it everybody socially distanced?
Everybody's socially distanced. It was very safe. There was about 100, just over 100 people.
Wow.
Huge marquee.
So
everybody had lots of space between them.
Yeah.
Everybody, it was a one-way system. And on the way out of everywhere, there was the hand washers and sanitizers. So it was very safe. And I was there to spoil it all.
Yeah, well, no change there then. No, that's what we do, isn't it? That's what we're good at, Les, isn't it? No, I say we do have such fun, and it's been strange not gigging so much. But this next one, you featuring this next one, Les, too? Grace the New Blonde. I noticed on this one, you listen for the line. So the first line is, "When I first met you, petrol was cheap." Yeah. And then the next line is, "So was the company I chose to keep." And right at that moment, Les comes in and blows his glasses. Have a look at it, see what you think.
We'll keep an eye out for it now.
Yeah.
Take one more bite of the cherry, one more sip from the vine. They're extraordinary, you get better with time. Oh, don't cry to the mirror as the pages get turned. Gray's the new blonde, as far as I'm concerned.
What a great song to end on.
Yes, we didn't go for the big bam ending. We'll go for the gentle ending.
Another thing that I think is really great about your music is the specificity of like the situation, and you've got loads of romance songs, but they're not just like "I love you." Yeah, as the Beatles would say, but they're kind of specific to like Grey is the New Blonde. That's like not a a version of a love song I've heard before all that much.
Well, and
it's
also, I
great to
suppose not many love songs would start when I first met you, petrol was cheap. So people think it's going to be almost a comedy song, and then they get drawn into it and so. So that one again is for my wife, and she's a, it's always lovely to have somebody you can write a song for. She always used to say, "You never write me any songs." I go, "I've written, they're all for you." There's a song I wrote called Valentine's Song. I wrote it with this friend of mine, Lottie, and we both realised it was February the 13th. And we'd forgotten to send, we were away writing, forgotten to send cards and flowers and everything. So we wrote a song and we got it on Facebook just up before just quickly before midnight struck on February the 14th. So we got out of jail. It's good, his music. It's good for doing stuff like that.
I wish I was good enough to be able to get away with that sort of stuff.
Greg, I want to hear you singing. We need to see you singing next time.
Well, unfortunately, we've run out of time, Henry, so we can't do that today. It will be. I mean, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for doing this today. It's been absolutely amazing. And I think if I'm right, this is the first like official proper brain charity event you've been a part of as a patron. So I'd like to say welcome to the brain charity in like a official capacity, having the experience of meeting all the people who come to the charity, and hopefully the next event you'll be involved with will be in the building where we can actually see, as you say, the whites of each other's eyes.
Would it be last November, December? And when I was I suppose I was interviewed to see if it was appropriate to make me a patron, And I behaved well that day, which is unusual for me, and they let me in. You realise you should never have done that anyway. But I've had, it's been, I've really enjoyed this. It's been great fun, and I've been sort of dipping in and out throughout the day and seeing, well, not least to just check that my Zoom worked, But well done, Greg. I think a big round of applause to Greg.